Sometimes when you launch Google, there's something different with the logo. Usually, when you click on it, there's some information that pops up about it. It's mainly an anniversary or celebration. These are called Google Doodles. On special occasions, though, Google will make a full on Flash game and make it much more expensive. This video will contain all of the Google Doodles that will show up if you search up Google Doodle games on the browser, plus a few ones that I remembered. So, without further ado, let's get into Number 17, Fishchinger. Fishchinger starts out at the bottom of the list. What we see is a soulless music creator. Oh, by the way, expect to see a lot of music creators down here. You click on one of the barely visible diamonds with sound equipped, there only being 4. With an automatic moving bar, you get to hear how your melody sounds. Cool. Well, that's it. Nothing else. Just pure void and boredom. Once you press the clear button, the music selection just resets to the first one that pops up when you launch it. It's quite annoying. You could possibly make something beautiful if you tried, but there's much better versions of this all out on the internet. This is just empty. Number 16, Rockmore. Rockmore is another music creator, this time themed around opera. What gives it the edge is the better music creator and the way you create it. You drag your cursor around to play various notes actually in the form of letters. You can actually try, mess around, or do this. The tutorial is pretty interesting as well. Still not that great of an experience. Once the tutorial is done, there's only making your own music pieces, and that's it. That gets boring fast. Number 15, Hip Hop. Next up, we have our last music creator, Hip Hop. This one celebrates the anniversary of the invention of hip hop. It takes the premise of turntables and DJs. It might be because I'm not a DJ, but I found this all to be a little clunky. The tutorial talked about extending the instrumentals, but it does that for you, taking away from the experience. I like how there's a different array of music choices, and those sound nice on their own. Turning the tables gives this effect of the vibe stopping, and no, we can't have that. The best thing about this would be the history lesson on how hip-hop was invented. It's nice, but the downfalls give it a low rating. Number 14, Cloud Game. The Cloud Game is specifically locked to mobile devices, as a different game than the dinosaur game, where you play it if you don't have Wi-Fi. We'll get to that one. It's a Flappy Bird-like game where you, as a cloud holding an umbrella, progress through the area avoiding birds and thunderclouds. While a good idea on paper, it feels very stiff, and the fact that it's an Android exclusive is a downgrade. This would also rarely occur, as many people have mobile data plans with their phones. I had to turn it off myself just to play it. I barely come across a time where this happens. With these downgrades, it feels underwhelming. Number 13, Coding. This one is mainly for the children. Coding is a drag and drop coding game teaching kids. You're a bunny and need to eat all the carrots in the least amount of commands. Scientific research aside, this is interesting but not that great. I didn't even bother to try and beat it with the least possible moves. It's a nice time, but it's not worth it, and it's over before it starts. If you want to learn the basics, it's okay, but not a game to play in your free time. Number 12, Garden Gnomes. Garden Gnomes feels like one of those mobile games whose ads would go like, if you reach pink level, you're legally in the World Series. It's a game where you try to yeet a gnome with a catapult across the longest distance to plant the most flowers. When I first played this, I didn't even know what to do. Either I'm blind or the instructions are hard to miss. Once you used all the gnomes, which feel virtually the same, there's nothing else you can do unless you're dying to become the World Series. Like Hip Hop, Garden Gnomes also opens with a piece of history, although it's much less interesting. It's fun, but not that great of an experience. Number 11, Minesweeper. A classic game is up next, being Minesweeper. The objective is to clear the entire board without triggering any mines. What Google does with it is make it accessible. There's really no expansion, it's just Minesweeper. It's already difficult on its own, even on the easiest setting. It's a game you can come back to, though. There's just nothing really to make this unique from any other version. Number 10. Savoy. This one is a charming experience. The Savoy Ballroom game shows the history of swing dancing by making a game out of it. You press F, J, D, and K to do dance moves. It's nice and definitely the best music game, but it lacks substance. The jazz pieces shown are nice. We have Let's Call the Whole Thing Off, Solid as a Rock, and By Mir bis du Schwen. The letter B really hard to pull off. Keeping track of two notes feels extremely disorienting, but after some trial and error, I was able to do it. There was a bonus song after that being Careless Whisper. Editor, feel free to do stuff. I know you love that song. That was really difficult. It adds two new buttons, L and S, and it splits into 4. This game has multiplayer, but it just adds an extra button and can easily be played as a more difficult single-player experience. I did that. It's a fun time, but that difficulty curve sets it back a bit. Number 9. Scoville. Here we are in a laboratory, testing out the heat of various peppers. In Scoville, you're a cone of ice cream trying to nullify the spice of a pepper. You have 3 shots to take it down before the professor who ate you dies of spice. It progressively gets harder and you have to aim your shots better. It's an interesting concept, but it's way too short. You stop at 5 peppers. It manages to feel slow and fast at the same time with the repeated cutscenes and lack of gameplay. This game kept me wanting more, and I couldn't deliver it. Number 8. Cricket. This is where we get into the good ones. This one an interesting spin on a famous sport. Cricket, for you unknowing Americans, is a popular baseball-like game where there are 2 runners in the middle trying to go across the batting area as many times as possible before the opposing team catches the ball. The same applies to Google Cricket, played with actual crickets as a fun. You hit the ball as far as possible to score the most points. The game ends once you miss the ball and it topples the wicket, a post-like thing integral to the game. It's a fun time beating your record and hitting the ball, but that's about it. There's nothing else about cricket that made it in. It's still a fun time, though. Number 7. Loteria. Here we have a traditional Mexican card game, Loteria. It's pretty similar to bingo, but the board is 4x4 and you have to score it in a predetermined way. This one is one of the most unique Google Doodle games, as it requires multiplayer. It's neat, but it's a problem, as not a lot of people play this anymore due to it being an archive. Sure, I got some easy loading matches, but others took a while. Once the game starts, it's a 5v5 to see who can score a Loteria first. This is all luck-based, meaning that you could never win. Heck, while playing this for the ranking, the first time I won was because no one else was participating. Losing also made me jump. It's a sudden disapproving sound that's unexpected. Gets me every time. It's a pretty nice time though, and you can even play with your friends. In fact, here's some footage of me doing that. Okay, everyone's in.
Yeah. Let's play bingo inside.
Bingo.
Las Jaras.
It's Spanish bingo.
El ajolote.
That's the best card. You can call it.
You can call it
La mancha.
Wow.
Who
was hard? Who's hard?
It was cool.
Number 6. Pac-Man. The classic pie person eating living gas and dots. Pac-Man to Google was a great adaptation. The board literally spells out Google. That's neat. That's neat. Overall, though, it's literally just Pac-Man. Don't get me wrong, Pac-Man's a great time. That's why it's so high on the list. There's just nothing to segregate it from other Pac-Man experiences besides the new map. Number 5. Snake. This is a classic. In Snake, you need to eat as many apples as you can without crashing into yourself or the wall. It's a really fun time, but unlike many others in this list, Snake was expanded upon. There's skins, map size, speed, amount of fruit, what fruit it is, even new game modes that shake up the entire thing. Some of my favorites include Peace, which means you can't die and it's infinite, Cheese, where you only exist every other tile, Vortex, transporting you to the other apple, Yin Yang, where you control 2 snakes at once, and Moving Apples. It's It's amazing how much this game has changed. It's an amazing time. Number 4, Dinosaur Game. The Wi-Fi's down. No biggie, this prehistoric guy gotcha. The Dinosaur Game is one of the most classic Doodle games, maybe even games of all time. The premise is simple. You're a T-Rex on the run, jumping over cactuses and avoiding birds. It's so simple, yet so fun. It's a game where you can just play over and over again. It's so nice to continuously play this game until the Wi-Fi comes back on. It holds a special place in many hearts. Mine as well, and it remains a classic to this day. Number 3, Pangolin Love. We have officially entered the S tier range, starting off with Pangolin Love. This was released in 2017 to celebrate Valentine's Day. You're a pangolin, a spiny anteater, look it up, madly in love with another. As you go to visit him, you realize you forgot a gift. You see other pangolins doing various things and decide to do them as well for your special someone. Curl up into a ball and roll into a 2D platformer exploration game. Your goal is to collect as many items as possible. It's exciting to roll around fighting these items and exploring the land. Each level is themed around a different country and or culture, having Ghana, India, China, and the Philippines. Each level is fun in its own right, and it has a steady difficulty curve. This and the games moving onward have cutscenes, and in this one they're really charming. The only major gripe I have was with the controls. Sure, they do the job, but they feel slippery, and don't get me started on the swingy thingies. I still have no idea how to control them or what to call them. It's not a major issue, I just wanted to vent about it. Overall, this is a really solid game that I can see myself going back to over and over again. Number 2, Magic Cat Academy. This was the first Google Doodle I remember going back to. Magic Cat Academy was a really good game. You play as Momo, a cat just studying some magic when your friends are taken by a gang of ghosts. To defeat them, you must draw the pictured symbols above the ghosts. It gets thrilling when you have to take on multiple ghosts at once. It's a really fun game that has a nice ending. I love this game. Which made me so excited when they found out they made a sequel. That's right, a sequel called Magic Cat Academy 2. In this one, the big baddie ghost accidentally possesses the entire ocean and crashes a boat with a mysterious figure on it, and you go to finish it off once and for all. The gameplay is virtually the same, with new shapes to draw, new gimmicks, new bosses, and new characters. The cool thing is how a boss is just a possessed sea creature. You also get their name and scientific name. Boops Boops. Boops Boops. Once beating the anglerfish, you find that same figure before to be a mercat. You take your boat down to the depths to end it. These games were so similar that I thought that I should group them together. These are one of the best Google Doodle games, but only one can be the best. Number 1. The best one just happens to be the latest one. It has so much effort put into it, you forget that it's a Google Doodle game that has correlation to this. This one, the best, is the Champion Island games. This game is phenomenal. It was made for the 2020 what Tokyo Olympic Games. Yeah, sorry about that. You play as Lucky the Cat, a contestant trying to win in all the events offered, being table tennis, rugby, skateboarding, marathon, artistic swimming, archery, and climbing. Each one is so distinct from one another. It gives so many opportunities and makes the game more enjoyable. Just traversing the land and exploring is amazing. You can teleport to the events, but I walked there because it was just so fun. There's so much substance that I could talk about. There's even cameos from other Google Doodles. The pangolin shows up, and Momo actually plays a prominent role. The best thing out of all of these is the fact that there's side quests. Side quests! In a Flash game that's comparable to this. You need to check this out. I know you have a browser. How else are you seeing this in the future? You can play it. The best way to know about this game is to play it yourself. I beg you to play it. You won't regret it. Well, that was all that I could find. The higher games will be worth your time. They make you think that Google should go into gaming. Oh, right. I forgot that. If I forgot any, please let me know in the comments below. If you agree with my rating, leave a like, and if you want to see more of this, subscribe to my channel to let me know. Anyways, I'll see you in the next one, and goodbye.